Sometimes I get the question, what if my spouse isn't on the same page as I am in working with the children? I feel defeated sometimes. I understand that if you are trying to get some things done, you're trying to work on the heart, and the other spouse is undermining that somewhat by focusing just on behavior or yelling at the kids when you're trying to relate in a calm way and use firmness. Those are challenging times, and you might feel discouraged by that. Sometimes a grandparent wants to work with a granddaughter or grandson and knows that there's these right things to do, but the parents aren't on board with that. And my response to that is use the influence that you have. Let's identify the window of influence that you have in this child. And often I say to parents, or to a mom or to a dad, I say, you look at the influence that you have. It's just so powerful. Even if the other spouse is doing something that is contrary, you're going to do what you are doing because your kids are going to see the convictions that you have. And children will recognize that, and they'll have to choose in their own life whether they're going to go this direction or that direction. They're going to have to evaluate how they're going to do their parenting when they get older. They're going to see that this mom really loved the Lord, and this mom was trying to do things according to God's ways and God's work. And that kind of an understanding that a child has is powerful. We want kids to be able to grasp that. The influence is very important. When we look at Timothy, he had two parents, a dad and a mom. But I think it's interesting who gets the spiritual credit for his development. It says in 2 Timothy 1:5, I'm reminded of your sincere faith, which first lived in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded now lives in you also. Who gets the credit for the spiritual development of this boy, Timothy? He grew up in a home. We know he had a father. We know he had a mother, but the person who gets the credit is the grandmother and the mother, because they had this influence, spiritual influence on this child. You have an opportunity as you're working with your child or grandchild to have a significant influence on their lives. So maximize that influence. If there's a divorce situation and the child goes back and forth between two homes, there's going to be differences in those. But when the child walks through your door, then there's certain ways that we live. We don't watch R-rated movies. We clean our rooms and we go to bed at certain times and we don't eat junk food. Children are going to see that you live differently. And when they understand that those differences are based on your convictions, then it makes a statement in their lives. All children are learning and they're watching, but they have this ability to go back and forth between different situations. That's why kids can do well at preschool, and when they get home, they're like a little terror running around. Or that's how children can do well in class at school, and then at home they have a problem. Because children learn what the rules are in those particular situations. They know how to relate to that authority. They know how to respond in those situations. So when you have influence on this child, your window of influence, you want to take advantage of that, plan it, and look for ways to bring the principles of a heart-based approach into that child's life. Hopefully you're able to share spiritual things and you're able to talk to them about Jesus in a way that maximizes your influence, or you're able to direct the course of their following instructions or correction. You're able to bring about this significant influence in their life. So think influence. Even if the other parent or the other adult in their lives is not doing what you wish they would do, you have influence. Maximize that influence in the life of that child, and you'll see the results over time bring some significant growth in the life of that child.